The dunk was amazing.
It was so cool.
Like, that's a 50. That's a 50 at the dunk contest. Very top of the Western Conference is your beloved New Orleans Pelicans. 2 massive wins over the weekend against the Phoenix Suns. And those are 2 teams that met in the playoffs last year. And a little smoke there between those.
That Zion dunk was the coolest thing, Chris. It was so awesome. And we need more of that genuine energy, animosity. That's how rivalries are formed.
I tweeted about this. The absolute best thing that can happen for fans is that taking place. You want there to be animosity. I'm at games every other night, and the game ends. These guys are playing kissy face. These guys are exchanging their jerseys, autographing it for each other. They're taking off their shoes and trading them. They're giving each other hugs, dapping each other up, and everybody's, kumbaya. And I love it where they're yelling at each other as they're walking towards the locker room. Like, we need matchups to look forward to. We need teams that hate each other's guts. It's one of the things that has been lost. And those things do develop from playing each other quite a bit, right? It usually emits from playoffs. And it's now almost obsolete. Like, in terms of like rivalries and teams that are both really good, that really don't like each other, where you can go back and you can play these clips of here's different things that have happened throughout time between these 2 teams. And you kind of got the feisty guys, and then you got the thing that upset the Suns, and you got the Suns who were always perpetually mad at everything. Like, it was awesome. And let's just take a moment, because so much was made of the moment. And is that classy? Is that not classy? All that bumpkiss.
Wah, 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 wah.
The dunk was amazing.
It was so cool.
Like, that's a 50. That's a 50 at the dunk contest. To see a guy that size spike it like
360, 360 windmill.
And spiked it.
Yeah.
Like, I love it when they throw it straight down. Like, he slammed that thing hard.
Yeah.
And the crowd's going insane, and the Suns are pissed, and it's so good.
Well, and
so
not to
good.
mention the hypocrisy, the Suns scoring at the end of some of the games they had previously as well, when the game was well out of hand and they could have ran the clock. It's ridiculous.
Everybody outside of Suns fans finds the Suns annoying. And every time that they are perpetually aggrieved, it's annoying, right?
Well,
They're the offended. They're the NBA Karens.
Well, that's a Chris Paul thing.
Yeah,
that's one reason why they're with Zion. So I tweeted out the play, and I just simply said, "I love so much that Zion did this." And I read a lot of my mentions, and like the mentions on that, like you had fans of the Nuggets and the Celtics with like little avatars on Twitter saying, "This is my favorite play of the season. This is the coolest thing I've seen all year. I love Zion now." There's so much of that. Right? Like that I've seen in his replies and quote tweets.
It is always Paul teams, because those old Clipper teams people couldn't stand because of Paul.
Yeah, yes. But I'm just saying, in the case of Zion, Zion said, I thought his response after the game was awesome. He's like, this is a little out of character for me, but my teammates lost to this team last year. Just felt good in the moment and all that. Like, Zion, lean into being this killer, man. Like, be feared. And I think with him, when I reported that story in the Pelicans a month ago, we talked about, you called it a love letter. And I was like, it's not quite a love letter. It's about their upside and some of the concerns that could hold them back. And one of the things we talked about was Zion, A, his health, which remains a concern with his body type and his injury history, but B, his defense. I think defensively the past month, he is still not a good defender, but he has been better than worse in the NBA. Like, he's putting in better effort. He's far more active off ball. They have him roaming a lot of the time, active in the passing lanes, causing deflections, helping in the paint. He looks better than I think he ever has defensively in the NBA. Still doesn't seem like the same level that he was at Duke. But also at Duke, it's not like he didn't make mistakes. It's not like he didn't have some, down moments, but effort was always there. I feel like the effort from Zion has been there pretty consistently this past month or so. And for New Orleans, that bodes very well for them when you consider that he's doing that while carrying an incredibly heavy offensive workload with Vernon Ingram out recently. Handling the ball more often, playmaking more often, bringing the ball up the court more often, and obviously like slingshotting towards the rim like he does all the time in the half court. So like he's playing a lot on offense while putting in better effort on defense. That's got to bode well for New Orleans long-term this season when you project what they could potentially be in the playoffs. A young team with concerns, like it obviously goes without saying, but Zion being better on defense, that is a real positive sign for him this year, that he's buying into the collective of this group with guys like Alvarado and Najee Marshall, all these try-hard players. Like this is a good thing for them to see Zion playing like that.
Well, and the other thing is it's kind of in the absence of Ingram, we have gotten this very clear Zion's that guy. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Zion's that guy, and it needs to survive around Zion. Like, there's always a pecking order with these teams, and Zion needs to be the leading shot taker on that team. And I'm not talking about every single night, right? There's nights that Jaylen Brown takes more shots than Jason Tatum. But I'm saying on a regular, like, he's the guy. And then there's Ingram, and then there's McCollum, and then there's the others, right? Like, he is...
I agree. Totally.
He is not only the future of that franchise, he is the present of that franchise. I mean, the guy, as I've said 100 times, it's a force of nature. I don't know what you do with him. The only thing that I've seen done to him was when Memphis played him a couple weeks ago and Dylan Brooks said, "You are not going left." He forced him into probably the worst game of his career, and it was like, we are going to sit on what you want to get to. But then even in that game, when somebody like Brooks went out of the game, I mean, he would just pummel people on the way to the rim. And good luck. Good luck trying to stay in front of him. He's getting where he wants to go. So he's one of the most difficult players in the league to deal with. And I think on a game-in, game-out basis, he's that guy already.
The one thing I'll say is, like, Zion's tendencies are to go left, but he can go right and still get to his left hand at the rim. So, like, I think with Zion, maybe this is the adjustment we'll see over the course of the season. He loves to go left. He wants to go left. Everybody knows he wants to go left. LeBron said it early in the season. Like, everybody talks about him wanting to go left. He still dominates you anyway. Well, maybe this is the year as he garners that defensive attention all year long. They start throwing doubles at him, that he starts learning how to get even better at going right, where it becomes like a 50-50 split, where he's not going left 75%, 80% of the time. It becomes more of a 50-50 split. And if he's getting that attention, like, Zion could pass the ball, yo. Like, that dude could really play make for his teammates. So I think with them, like, the reason why I've been so bullish on New Orleans since they got McCollum in February is, like, if Zion is healthy and if he plays like he did prior to his injury, and if Ingram does what he does in that Phoenix series and has shown he can do throughout his career since he was in LA, like, they have options. So if Zion is having a night where they're packing the paint and he's just not able to get it going the way that he usually can, if they're building the wall like they do against Giannis, well, guess what? Giannis has Chris Middleton. Giannis has Drew Holiday. Those perimeter creators who can help activate him in a different way, running high pick and roll, causing switches and whatnot, right? Zion has those options with Brandon Ingram, who has proven to be an elite isolation scorer, very good pick and roll creator, and CJ McCollum, who's been a bucket getter for years. So they have so many options to be a source of creation. Never mind, like, the other guys, a Dyson Daniels, who can really create for you. Your Jose Alvarado, who had a 30-plus point game recently, and he's like your spark plug guard off the bench. A Larry Nance for dribble handoff actions on the perimeter. They have different Jonas Valanciunas who could be interior or perimeter with DHOs, spot up threes, pick and pops. They have so many sources of creation. And I think New Orleans is one of those teams where they can throw out 5 guys on the floor and all of them can initiate your offense for you at a high level, where Zion's the number one guy. Like you said, Chris, we're talking about the hierarchy, but he's not the only one. And I think that gives the New Orleans Pelicans a distinct advantage when it comes to playoff matchups, assuming they stay healthy, assuming these young guys can maintain production. And I think they can. I have a lot of belief in this team, and they continue to improve my confidence in what they can be this season, but especially in the years to come.